Alright, so today we learned about just parent functions, so the simplest version that a function, these types of functions can be. So starting with absolute, I don't like this should say value. Functions, some things about it is always V-shaped, okay, so it kind of looks like that. It's always V-shaped. It is symmetrical about the origin, or about the vertex, I should say. Okay? And so how we're going to actually graph these and plot these is that we are going to make a t-chart. So we should know these things about this graph, okay? Our second step is to make a t-chart. So we're going to put x values in and we're going to put y values in. Okay? I always just do -1, 0, 1. Okay? And I think that that gives us a pretty good idea. If we want to do, I'll just make this a little longer. This is optional, but we can do -2 and 2 also. So we're going to go ahead and plug these numbers in to our absolute value. So the absolute value of -1 is 1. The absolute value of 0 is 0. The absolute value of 1 is 1. The absolute value of -2 is 2. The absolute value of 2 is 2. Alright, abs val always positive. Okay, and then we just go ahead and plot these. So we've already kind of been doing this. We go over, we have 0, 0, we have 1, -1, 1, we have +1, 1. We have -2, 2, we have +2, 2, and then we just connect these lines. Okay, our domain, going from our left to our right on the x-axis is going to give us our domain. So all the way to the right, we reach positive infinity. Right, this function on the right side is going to the left forever, and this function on the right side is going to the right forever. So our domain is always -infinity to positive infinity. Okay, our range. Once again, we work up and down on our y-axis for our range. Starting at our lowest point, we have nothing that is lower than 0, then y equals 0. So our lowest value is 0, and we got an output for 0, right? That was not negative, so 0 is included, so you're going to need a bracket here. And then it goes up forever, okay, including all other y values. So for absolute value, 0 is smallest, always. Okay, going on to quadratic functions. So quadratics are parabola shaped. Parabola shaped. Okay, so they look like this. You can kind of think about it as like a smiley face. Okay, and there is symmetry about the vertex again. Okay, so these are pretty similar graphs, except for this one's not going to be straight. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have a table, we're going to have x, we're going to have y. I'll just do -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And we plug these in to this function right here. So -2 squared is going to be +4. -1 squared is going to be +1. 0 squared is 0, 1 squared is 1, and 2 squared is positive 2, or 4. Sorry. Okay, and then we go ahead and just plot these again. So we come over to negative 2 and we go up 4. We go to positive 2, up 4, negative 1, positive 1, positive 1, positive 1, and 0. And we just connect these dots. Okay? So a little bit more round than absolute value, but same type of idea. Our domain, once again, goes left to right, and it's our x value, so this is going to the left, right? As we plot more and more points going upwards, they're going to go more to the left. So once again, our domain is going to be negative infinity to positive infinity, because this one's going to the right also. For our range, going up and down, once again, we do not get lower than 0, but it does include 0. Okay, so it's 0 to infinity. Once again, it goes up forever. For domain and range, we work bottom to top and left to right. Okay, please, please, please. So lowest to highest. Alright, and then we have a cubic function. So things to know about a cubic function is it is shaped like an S. S-shaped. Okay. Maybe like a snake or like a string, I don't know. It just goes like that, okay? So once again, we're gonna make a table of values, x and y, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. And we're plugging these numbers into this function right here. So negative 2 cubed is negative 8. Remember, cubed negatives stay negative. Okay, and then we have negative 1 cubed, which is negative 1. 0 cubed is 0, 1 cubed is 1, and 2 cubed is positive 8. So once again, we come over and we're going to plot our points. I start with 0, 0. We can do negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 8, positive 1, positive 1, positive 2, positive 8. And that's what our graph is going to look like. Our domain for this one, working left to right. Once again, this is slowly moving more to the left, and this is slowly moving more to the right, but it's always moving to the left and to the right. So our domain is negative infinity to positive infinity. Going up and down, this is pretty easy to see that this is going down forever and this is going up forever. Okay, so once again, negative infinity to positive infinity. Our square root function is the last one that we're going to look at. So, things to know about this graph is it is half parabola sideways shaped. Okay, so it looks like this. Also, we can't have square roots of negative numbers. Okay, so when we make our table for this graph, we cannot use negatives. So we have to start at 0. if we have a square root of -1, that is imaginary. We can't graph it. If we have square root of -5, imaginary. So we can't do that. Okay? So 0, 1, 2 would be fine. Actually, I'm gonna do 0, 4, 1, and 9. So if we pick numbers that are perfect squares, pick numbers that are perfect squares. So we get whole numbers to get whole numbers to plot. Okay, so taking the square root of 0 is 0. Taking the square root of 1 is 1. Taking the square root of 4, we get 2, and taking the square root of 9, we get 3. So once again, just picking numbers that we can plug into here that are going to get us whole numbers out is just going to be easier. So we have 0, 0, we have 1, 1, we have 4, 2, and we have 9, 3. That's what our graph looks like. So our domain going left to right, our x values do not get less than 0. They stop at 0. They include 0, okay? And then they go all the way to the right for positive infinity. So once again, we can't have square root of negative numbers. That's why our domain starts at 0. Okay? And our range, once again, it does not get lower going up and down than 0. And it continues going up forever.